and welcome to the Bama Geeks podcast. This is episode 81. We hope you are doing so well. I'm Brock Parker, and as always, my wife Jessica in a different location tonight.
Yep, down here. Hello.
And then we've got Kevin Gardner that way.
Over here.
And Bo Bearden way over there to the other side. And we are absolutely thrilled. We've been wanting to speak to a wonderful man here for such a long time. In the middle there, you see Gary Jones.
There he is. Up there.
And thank you so much for being with us, Gary.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Gary is, you know what? I'm going to let Gary tell you all about himself because
you're really trusting, aren't you?
I am. We all love the Alabama Theater. You've heard us talk about it many times. We always go to the movies and different events. Kevin and I went to see Weird Al Yankovic a year or two ago there. So a lot of fun times, but Gary is instrumental at the Alabama Theater. So,
in a big way.
in a big way.
Well, so do you want me to do all of my huge organ jokes, or just we just want to talk about
Oh boy, here we go.
Now you see why we wanted them on here.
Seriously, confine this now. I'm currently, and after this is over, hope to still be the house organist at the Alabama Theater, where we feature the mighty Wurlitzer Theater pipe organ, Big Bertha, affectionately nicknamed Big Bertha. And Bertha, as many of you know, and some may not, but she is a magnificently appointed, extraordinarily decorated with a red and gold console, but lovely mighty Wurlitzer Theater pipe organ that's original to the Alabama, and just quite frankly, the whole reason that the Alabama Theater was saved.
Right.
That story, we can just jump right in on that one.
Absolutely.
The Alabama Theater was built in 1927. It was built by Paramount Studios, operated under their subsidiary Publix Theaters. The theater was designed to show silent films, which was the technology of the day. Paramount and the other major studios, the Big Five, all needed to have a guaranteed screen every week. So they went and built these movie palaces, starting out with, less ornate, but then, of course, competition. So you want your movie palace, Jessica, to be much more ornate than mine so that you will draw that crowd in to see the movie. And the movies changed every week. It was the social outlet that you had. No television, no radio, you basically had opportunities, as most people did, to have a piano in your home, maybe a phonograph. Radios didn't come later, of course, no telephones, anything else. And so your social interaction was to go out and see the latest movie of the week. Paramount was producing basically a movie a week, and it would rotor into the theater. This week's movie would start. The current feature that was showing prior to this one would move to a second-run house. In our case, much later on, it would move across the street to the Lyric Theater, which was a second-run house. And the Alabama Theater, situated in the heart of the theater district, had many competitors. So the Ritz around the corner was the biggest competitor. Down on 19th and 5th was the MGM Lowe's. You had close to 40 theaters within a 6-block district that would be either a first-run house or a second-run house or a neighborhood house, and the smaller houses would pick these movies up. So here's what happened. The movie comes in, it runs for a week, goes to a second-run house where they keep it for as long as they can possibly milk $1 out of it. And then it goes to the neighborhood houses after that. So Paramount, in their infinite wisdom, built all these lavish movie palaces so they could guarantee to have a screen available to show this next film next week, and the film after that next week. And so I have to point out, you rarely, let me rephrase that. It was incredibly disruptive to have a movie that was held over for one more week because it disrupted their schedule. Okay. And so if they had a movie that was a huge blockbuster that was just filling every seat for every show, and you got to remember they're starting at 10 in the morning and running till midnight, 7 days a week, and they would really be loath to hang on to a film because they had the next one in the shoot. Of course, this gave them an opportunity to take a break here and there too, but nobody wanted to do that. They have all these actors and artists under contract, and that would mean, for example, Bo, you would sign a contract. You are maybe a major star, maybe a minor star. It didn't matter. You would show up to work on Monday morning and they would hand you the script and say, you're on lot 17 and you're in a Western. And then next week you finish shooting that and then you go in on Monday morning and it's like, you're on lot 23 and it's a, Pirates high seas adventure. And you're under contract and you did what they said. Mm-hmm. All right. So we've got these movies and they're coming out every week and they're silent films. And so in order to emotionally tie the audience with the film on the screen, you would provide a musical accompaniment. If you were in a teeny tiny house, you might have a pit piano. If you were in a large deluxe house like the Alabama, you'd have the Alabama Theater Orchestra. A lot of things can be said about an orchestra accompanying a silent film. The biggest thing that you have to understand is it is much like a large ship. It is hard to change course. It's hard to get an orchestra to cue a film precisely. You generally get them to do mood music. Hopefully they're not, chase music during a love scene or whatever.
I want to hear it now.
L'amour. In the late teens, 1915 to 1919, in the very, 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 very early 20s, a couple of people started taking pit pianos and they would add, a cowbell or a cymbal or triangle, and it just grew. It just grew and grew. And the Wurlitzer Company, who had been producing band organs for merry-go-rounds, decided that with the help of Robert Hope Jones from England, that's another story, he was producing these organs that could be placed in buildings without having to be physically connected to the pipework. It was all done with electromagnetic, electropneumatic little pouches and wires and everything. It all ran on 12 volts DC. And his big claim to fame was if you bought an organ prior to his invention of electropneumatic operation, a physical key was connected to a lever which opened the valve of a pipe, and therefore the console of the organ had to be with the pipework. And in England, he devised the electropneumatic relaying system, electropneumatic chests. And so a little 12-volt magnet closes a contact, opens a pipe valve. And his big first demonstration, he hauled the console out to the graveyard and played the organ from the graveyard. And of course, oh my God, it was heinous. Everyone was just mortified.
Tasteful.
Well, it was blasphemy for one thing. And then second of all, you're going to be electrocuted by this new device. And of course, 12 volts DC is going to electrocute somebody. But he was terrible. Robert Hope Jones had a couple of other interesting things that happened, but that we will not discuss this evening. Let's just say that they involved I didn't freeze. I'm just trying to carefully phrase it. Yes. Let's just say they involved some church parishioners, choir boys, and it caused him to have to very cleverly escape England.
Okay.
All right.
Along with his wife. And so he came to America, founded the Hope Jones Organ Company, and was, I cannot overstate this. I cannot over dramatize this. He was the most inventive genius when it came to this. He invented so many things within the organ world and without. But he's a terrible businessman. He's just an awful businessman. So the Wurlitzer Company goes, maybe we could buy this stuff and market it a different way. And so they entered into an agreement with Hope Jones that they start building these. We call them theater organs. Wurlitzer never called it an organ. They never called it a theater organ. They called it a unit orchestra. And they would go to managers or theater chains and say, hey, look, if you buy one of our instruments, it'll cue your movies. You got to hire one organist. Why do you need 42 people on your payroll in an orchestra when you can just buy one of ours? And so it was a big marketing ploy. So these organs go in, and they are really actually quite good at what they're designed to do, and that is accompany a silent film. There are orchestral sounds. There are organ sounds. There are the tuned percussions, the non-tuned percussions, sound effects, all of that. Anything that you could possibly imagine and need to accompany a silent film. And so Wurlitzer really locked in, and they had the lion's share of the market. There were other organ manufacturers that jumped onto the bandwagon and started producing. But if you take, let's say, the top 12, if you take the next 11 competitors and combine their output, it still was exceeded by Wurlitzer. Wurlitzer was a common household name. It was everywhere you went. Of course, they had their reputation as the band organ manufacturer. In World War I, they had imported and distributed from Germany snare drums and bugles for use in the war, because in World War I, you still had snare drums and bugles to call everyone to arms.
Yeah.
So they were very capable. They were building pianos at the time as well. And so this was just a natural progression. Now I'm going to take a side note here. When talkies came in and the theater organ went out, Wurlitzer was like, oh crap, what are we going to do now? So anybody want to guess what was next in their arsenal?
Jukeboxes.
Jukeboxes, thank you. Jukeboxes. And they were like, well, we've got all this technology and we've got all this mechanical mayhem that the theater organ has to operate with. How can we make this? So they did jukeboxes, and they did some other things too. They built refrigerators and stoves. That was very quickly pushed aside because, you know, your Frigidaire had a name brand share there as well. But then after they did radios for a while. They did jukeboxes, of course, and then they were still building pianos. And then when the home organ craze, remember your grandmother or your great grandmother's organ in her home in the 60s and 70s. Yep. So they got into the electronic end of that. And then, of course, ultimately and eventually the Wurlitzer Company was bought out by the Baldwin Piano Company, and they were merged. So we've discussed why the theater was there and why the Wurlitzer was there. So now what do you got? You've got this magical instrument that is my dear friend, the late great Jim Riggs, called it MGV, maximum gadget value. There we go, MGV, because it's like the steam train people and the theater organ people are just they're like big things. So here's this organ, and silent films end by the time the Alabama Theater opens. Al Jolson utters those famous words, "You ain't heard nothing yet." And not overnight. It took a little bit. That "You ain't heard nothing yet" was a patented process by the Vitaphone company, licensed to Warner Brothers. And so everybody had to either license that technology or create their own technology. So it took a couple of 3 years for sound technology to catch up. And then what you were doing then is you were recording on film, the action on film, and you were recording on wax disc or shellac disc, and then they had to be synchronized, and so that's a pain in the butt, and lots of reasons to go wrong and derail. And so not until really when strip film and magnetic technology was put together could you really synchronize sound really well. So it took them a while to get it right. If you've ever seen Singing in the Rain, that is a beautiful depiction of what happened, and it's pretty accurate. So if you haven't ever seen it, it's worth your time and trouble. If you have seen it, go back and rewatch it. It's very accurate. They had all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
So the organ is there, and it is used throughout the 30s and 40s. And at that point, it assumed the role that we utilize it today, and that is you use it to get folks in and entertain the crowd while they're being seated. And you do maybe a sing-along and accompany something and do an organ solo spot, and then you get everybody out. Yeah. And that was going on in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s into the late 70s. And the organ at that point, we were starting to experience the urban flight, and so downtown was kind of diminishing, and the organ was silent there for a little bit.
Right.
I'm going to take a sidestep. In 1969, the Alabama chapter of the American Theater Organ Society was formed out of a joint venture of the Southeastern chapter, which was Atlanta and Birmingham. And the Atlanta chapter agreed to maintain the Fox at the Mighty Mo and the Fox. The Alabama chapter took over maintenance of Big Bertha. And what the theater organ group did is they went to management and said, look, we will maintain your instrument free of cost. We will volunteer. We'll pay for everything in exchange for once or twice a year the ability to come in and showcase the instrument. Also, we could probably help you find someone if you wanted to use it for the ladies' matinees or whatever to do that. And so various people went in and out doing that. The Theater Organ Society is maintaining the instrument. And the theater is changing hands left and right from 1970 to 1986. I think it went through 4 different owners, 5.
Oh, wow.
CBS, Plitt, landed in the hands of the Costa Head organization. And if you remember back in, I don't know how old everybody is here. I probably am the oldest one.
We're all mid 40s. Yeah.
I have underwear older than all of you.
I don't know if that's something I'd be proud of, but okay.
I'm not wearing those now. I'm something. Right, so 85-ish, Costa Head, Pedro Costa, Nelson Head, they are buying up properties downtown left and right. They're pushing for revitalization of downtown Birmingham. The whole renaissance of downtown revitalization and theaters has just begun. And they are going to turn the Alabama into a rock music palace. And they are purchasing this building and that building and putting up all these street planners and everything. And delicately as I possibly can, they ran out of money. They had some good ideas, but they ran out of money.
Okay.
So the theater finds itself in 1986 as part of a bankruptcy settlement with the Costa Head organization. That back taxes haven't been paid. The theater is certain to be torn down because who wants this giant movie palace that you can't do anything with? God knows it's never going to make a dime. It needs extensive millions of dollars renovation. And who's going to want it? And so we're just sure that the theater's going to be torn down. So the Organ Society goes to the bankruptcy judge and the bankruptcy attorney and says, look, what we would like to do is purchase and remove the organ and move it to a suitable venue so it doesn't get destroyed. And sorry about the building. And they're like, you want a what? And we're like, well, we'll move it to an auditorium. We talked about Boutwell and
Mm-hmm.
some,
Okay.
civic center type thing. And the bankruptcy attorney said, no, if you want the organ, you'll have to buy the building and its contents.
Mm.
And so that crazy little geeky group of organ nerds, of which I am the president,
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
they raised the money and raised enough money to pay off the back taxes. We always laugh and say the back taxes on Tara.
Right.
We go and secure a mortgage to get the deed and own the building, and we formed ATOS, Alabama Theater Organ Society, is a 501c3 nonprofit. We formed another nonprofit called Birmingham Landmarks Incorporated,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the nonprofit that actually owns the building and operates it on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, these are the days. This is 1986, and at that point, I'm very much involved with the Theater Organ Society. I'm on the founding board of Birmingham Landmarks, and we're sitting around going, how do we make this thing go? And it's the old Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney. Let's put on a show, and we started doing some concerts. Those late 80s concerts were incredible because nobody ever had experienced anything in a building like that at that time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We were doing a movie series. We were trying to do a movie series. It was not very well received initially. Nobody wanted to come downtown. They were fearful of their lives. And,
Mm-hmm.
I really do not want to step on anybody's toes here, but you're safer downtown at the Alabama Theater than you are at our largest enclosed mall that's just west of me.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
leave it at
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree.
The city leaders, we did not want to be beholden to a governmental agency, so we really wanted to be self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And so we
Right.
devised a lot of different plans, of different ways to make this run, make it go. And one thing led to another. The late great Cecil Whitmire was at times a genius, and then at other times just the luckiest damn man on the planet. And he, when we couldn't get anybody to come to the theater, he took a gob of tickets, a handful of tickets, and he went to Regions Bank, and he went to Alabama Power, and he went to Allegasco,
Mm-hmm.
and he handed them, like 500 tickets apiece, and said, on Tuesday night, we're going to show a Christmas movie. Come on down. Give them
Okay.
to your employees or your customers.
Yeah.
And we thought nobody's going to come. Well, 2,000 people showed up. And we're like, well,
Wow.
maybe there's something here.
Uh-huh.
So that built off of that. And after that first year, they came back and said, are you going to do this again? And he said, well, we're going to do the series, but it'll be $7.
Mhm.
So that's how the Christmas movies came about.
Okay.
In
All
the
right.
meantime, we're running into all sorts of good things and obstacles, and we start the fundraising process because now you've got back to an operational theater on a daily basis that needs a lot of restoration. And so we mounted a capital campaign, and in 1998, we completed the first restoration of the theater. That was a multi-million-dollar project. It was done over the period of a year and a half. And it created the foundation and the base plate of how we operate today.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Landmarks, through other deals, has purchased property after property to the end of the block. And then a few years in the late 90s, early 2000s, I forget the exact year, the family that owned the Lyric Theater sold Birmingham Landmarks, the Lyric Theater, for $10. Now, go, oh, really? Yeah,
That's a steal.
That's a steal until you read the contract, because it's like you can't alter it, you can't tear it down, you've got to restore it. So $14.5 million later, now we have the lyric.
Yeah.
Right.
So all of that to say, that's why the Mighty Wurlitzer saved the Alabama, and why now the theater district is as it is, because my dear friend Glennie Brock always says the Mighty Wurlitzer is the engine that drives that theater district, that block. And so we have, near us, there's Red Mountain, and there's the Carver and Dorothy Jemison Day Theater, and then you get beyond that perimeter into the Civic Center and all of that. And I just don't see all of that being as well received or successful as it would be without the Alabama. I mean,
I agree.
It really is the catalyst that brought all this into focus.
I totally agree on that.
That's why we're here, and that's why I go to work every day. Is because we saved that silly organ, and now
look where we're look where we're at now.
So
then you have fanboys like me that go to the Alabama Theater specifically for that silly organ.
Absolutely.
We laugh about this so many times, and our house manager Cindy Mullins and I always giggle that people pull up in their SUVs with their television monitor, LCD systems, DVD system, watching the movie that they're coming inside to watch. And we know it's corny and we know it's cornball, but we say this and it's true, and that is we're not really showing movies. We're creating an experience. We're creating a tradition.
Yes.
And we very, very much are overly concerned with what we call the patron experience. And that starts with, hey, let's go see a movie. I got my finger in there. Let's go see a movie. And then they have to buy a ticket, and then they have to get in their vehicle and come down, and then they have to find parking. And then they have to get inside and go through screening. And, me and those security guards, I'll go 3, 4, 5 times through to get scanned. It was, they go inside. We've got the tree. There's the sing-along. There's the movie. And we get a security guard every once in a while that tries to rush people out at the end. And we're like, no. Pictures are important. Let them linger. We're creating an experience. So we're very much aware of that. And we never take it for granted. We could be off the radar, at any moment. We could lose our fan base at any moment. So we very much sincerely try to make sure that whether it's a concert or a movie or a play or a dance recital, Jesus, we just finished dance recital season yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not making any disparaging remarks.
No, not at all.
About that. And you want a film series? You come down there. It's Dance Mama-rama. Anyway, so we typically, and I'll segue now because we typically do a summer film series and we do the holiday film series. And I know everyone grab hold of something. We're not having a summer film series this year.
Yeah. Oh.
No gasps.
Oh,
I know.
No, it's
What?
It's a moment of silence.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Kind of a little
Reverence.
shocked. Oh.
Tell us, Gary, what's going on?
What is going on, Gary? Why are
Gary,
we not
what
getting
did you do?
It's like, oops, I pulled the plug. So last major renovation was in '98, restoration. And the Alabama is used virtually on a daily basis. There is something going on. Now you look on the website, you see the public events. You don't see the private events. So when I tell you tomorrow is my first day off in 2.5 weeks,
Oh, wow.
It's the
Wow.
truth. I mean, it is
Okay.
every single day there is something going on, something's happening. So we've got all these major projects to do,
Hmm.
and they're rather than do them one by one and create a mess or have to close down for a week or whatever, we just decided that the best thing we could possibly do is to do multiple simultaneous major projects all in one fell swoop,
Sure. Yeah.
technically beginning the day after Memorial Day, but we're going to be finished up by the 4th of July. And we have major dressing room renovation. There's some HVAC that's got to be replaced. There's a HVAC unit up there that's as big as a dinosaur from the 60s and
Wow.
sounds like one. That's got to come out. That's being moved to the roof. There's some plumbing issues that we've got to address. There is still, it is not dangerous, but it is there, some 1927 electrical wiring that's going to
Oh,
be
no.
replaced.
Oh, wow.
There's
Wow.
some new stage equipment that's going in. In '98 we did this. How can I put this delicately? We did this build out of the AV control center, which basically is 2x4s and plywood, and it's what we could do at the time, and it's been very functional.
If it works, it works.
Exactly.
Works exactly. So, but now we've got an actual professional company coming in to push that out and take it down and build a proper AV control center. Our tech director, Donnie Stoltz, is about to pee on himself because that's going to make it so much easier for him to do. How he does what he does, I don't know, but he makes it work up there. You give him the tools. I don't have a nice microphone, but here we are. So that's happening. Repainting of some stage equipment and stage flooring, the repainting of the main floor, a true deep clean, which is way overdue. And so all of this, and the biggest one of all
Yeah.
is plaster and paint repair. So that involves scaffolding.
Oh.
And so, it's gonna take, days to get scaffolding up and then days to get scaffolding down and then days to do the work. So these contractors are coming in. They're going to stormtroop the place. There are going to be multiple teams working in various parts of the theater all during the month of June. And there goes our summer series.
Yeah.
Now, what we're talking about doing is after the completion of the last project, what we want to do are from, July to concert season, which will be, let's call it, let's just say until Sidewalk Film Festival, which is the last weekend in August. I'll give a shameless plug for those guys. We're going to do some one-offs. So don't hold me to any of this, but we're in terms of, we're thinking in things like Grease sing-along or Sound of Music, the big ones that will bring a good audience. I hesitate to mention that this is an 85th anniversary of a particular film that we haven't shown in a while, and so we're in discussions about doing that. And that refers back to our paying off the back taxes on Tara. There, see, I promised I wouldn't mention it, and I haven't.
I know.
So,
you didn't say anything. No, not at all.
I didn't say a thing. No, you can't prove anything. So we're going to do some one-offs, and then of course, then there'll be Sidewalk, and then September and October are the two biggest concert months of the year. And then, by the end of October, the last Sunday in October, we have the 1925 silent classic that we've shown for 44 years, Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
And so that's always we say it's like prom for us. We wait all year and we start planning, even though it's the same thing. We start planning next year's Phantom of the Opera showing. So that's the end of October, and then all of a sudden it's November and December, and November is already full. December is that month that from the day after Thanksgiving until so let's say the day after Thanksgiving till January 3rd. I don't have a day off then because we are
Right.
every single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So we've got these projects and we want to get them done, and so the push is on to get that out of the
Right.
way, because being built in 1927 and it's 2024, we've got a 100-year celebration coming up that we're already planning. So
Yeah.
Oh,
we've got
that's
to get these things just out of the way, get it out of
Right.
the way, so we can concentrate and focus on celebrating that year. We're not going to have one or two events. It's going to be a year-long celebration. So
Oh, wow.
that's going to be fun. That
Oh,
will be
that's
fun.
gonna be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Now, how is Big Bertha, by the way? Because
Well,
she was
now, see, funny.
going out for a little makeover, right?
Yes, yes. So the organ, the last big renovation of the organ and restoration of the organ was in also 1998 when the theater was closed for its major renovation. And so now Bertha is used as much as she was on day one in the 20s and 30s. And so the normal day-to-day maintenance, the normal tuning, the normal maintenance that you would do, we're talking, changing the oil in your car and the air filter and the tuning and all of that stuff that we do as ATOS on a daily basis. That has reached a point now where we need to do some major console renovation. So I know some of you saw several weeks ago that the console, the red and gold console, was pulled out and sent over to Lithonia, Georgia, to the A.E. Schluter Pipe Organ Company, where they will do this massive rebuild of the console, if you would.
Right.
It's a three-phase project. Phase one was a refurbishment of the four manuals, the four keyboards. That was done in-house with our crew and Tom Helms. And Helms is the one who is responsible for Phantom of the Opera for us. But he's a great organ builder and organ restorer in his own right. So those keyboards have been completely reworked, redone, everything, bus bars, contacts, everything, all of that's been, he's done all that work, and the crew with him. And so that phase one is completed. Phase two is, if you look in this picture and see all those multicolored stop tabs, the red and yellow and white and black, all of those are controlled by each one has an individual stop action magnet assembly. And what that does is there's a magnet on top and a magnet on bottom. And when you energize it, it will either push the tab down or push the tab up. And those have to be replaced. We're getting all new stop tab action magnet assemblies. And there's some other work internally to the console that will be done. Now, all of that has to be completed so that then phase three can be completed. And we're not doing phase three in 2024. We're probably going to wait till we get closer to 2027. And that is the cosmetic paint ornamentation portion.
Okay.
And that is certainly the most complex and complicated, because, you can't just call up Joe's paint shop and go, "Hey, come spray paint this thing red."
I mean, let's be real. You could if you want to, but you're going to get a Mako, cover for it. You know what I mean?
$199. Yeah.
$99.
We're working with a restorer who we are crossing fingers and are trying to get into his schedule. And if I have to go create homicide, mayhem, arson, I don't know what it's going to take, but I really hope that we're going to get into that schedule some way. And he's going to do that. And I couldn't trust anyone more. I can't talk about that much right now, but when it comes out, you'll know that I'm definitely for it. Anyway, so that's phase three. So by the end of the summer, we should have the red and gold console back. In the meantime, we have a temporary console that's been put in its place. It's a little smaller 3 manual, not 4. It's very plain. It's just a plain paneled mahogany case. Oh, let's talk about that.
Oh, okay.
So prior to about 1923, 24, when you ordered a theater or when you ordered any organ, you had 2 choices. You got a mahogany paneled console, or you got a mahogany panel console painted white. And the concept of an ornate decorated console had really not hit. The Barton Organ Company out of Wisconsin, Dan Barton's family was a big circus family with Ringling Brothers. And they did a lot of ornamentation and painting for all the circus decor. And Barton created the Bartola Instrument Company, and he was taking those pit pianos and adding all those things that we talked about earlier, the triangles and the blocks and everything. And that just sort of kind of grew. And at the same time, Wurlitzer's bringing in their unit orchestra. He starts building his version of a unit orchestra. And so you got this plain mahogany console over here, and you got this plain mahogany console over here. So what are you going to do to market yourselves a little bit better, maybe have a little edge? So Barton, used to being in the circus world, starts building these kind of band organs, merry-go-round cased instruments. And all of a sudden, I mean, come on, looks sell.
Yeah.
And, the rest of the organ that you can't see, nobody really thinks about, but by golly, that console is the thing that everybody sees every time they come in the door. So here he is, and he's killing them in the Midwest. And so Wurlitzer around 1924 goes, crap, we got to do something about this. So they create a console decoration department. And the console decorators would work with the architects, and of course, for an additional charge, they would take and decorate a console to fit the decor of your theater. And so they made so many elaborate one-off consoles. It's unbelievable when you start looking at the different variety and different pictures of consoles that they built, each unique for that theaters. And again, we're back to that theater having a calling card in their community to really bring people in. And so the ornate red and gold console that is Big Bertha was a one-off. There was only one built of that 4 manual. It's a Spanish Moorish design to blend with the architecture of the theater, which is Spanish Moorish, which was designed by Chicago architects Graven and Major. And it blends perfectly in with the building. I don't think you could put it anywhere else and it work. And you can certainly come in now and see our very plain mahogany console, which I'm very grateful to have because it keeps the organ operational. But it just it looks so sad up there. It's as plain as it can be. But it works. It works. And so we when we made the decision to pull the console out and have it refitted off-site, we had to bear in mind that we have so many events right now that still use the organ, even without a summer series. And this is another reason why, we'll do this summer, we'll forego the summer while the organ's out. But, we use it for example, the Jefferson State Community College graduation ceremony. And boy, howdy, when they found out the organ was coming out, I got a phone call. Let's just say one Miss Tamika was not happy. And I was like, no, we got a temporary console coming in. It's going to be fine. And then Main Street Now just held their annual conference. Birmingham was the host. And Bertha started playing when they opened the doors until they got all their 1,500 people in and seated and kicked them off. And then we had a couple of private tours. We had ATOS chapter meeting was this afternoon at 2:00, and our chapter members got to see the temporary console fully functional. So we've got a few other things coming. If we are able to use it again with Sidewalk, it will be the console that we use for that. And the goal is to have the red and gold back by Phantom. Although Mr. Helms would be quite capable of doing that show with this console. All the resources are available. Everything works. Everything's there. It's just in a different format.
Yeah, her little prettiness, her little, is away for just temporarily right now.
Yeah, it's just
Her
I always
crown.
say, getting a little facelift tiara replacement.
Yeah. Right.
She's got her makeup off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, when she goes back out again, probably in 2026, that paint. And here's the thing: if you look at her, first of all, she photographs excruciatingly well. Number two, she looks good under theatrical lighting, and number three, she looks great from 10 feet out. But once you get close, you start to see the normal wear and tear. Maybe this is a little dull. Maybe this is worn down. Maybe this has been bumped or anything. I have never dropped a cocktail on that console, I swear. And so those are the things that have to be addressed, and that's what we want to do. If you got up closer to that, you would be amazed at when you get right up to it. It's like, oh man, she needs a little facelift. Oh, and speaking of, in this picture that you're seeing here, do you see the iron ornamental gate fence around the front? That just came back this week. We took it out and had it sandblasted. There were some issues with it. It's been repaired. I can't remember the name of the ironworks over in Tarrant that did that work. Sorry, guys. And then it came back, and one of our board members of ATOS is a former employee of Jim Burke, and took it down to the Jim Burke Buick paint shop, and they put the absolutely most gorgeous paint on top of it that is going to be sealed and so well wearing over the next few years.
Okay.
That we got to see it for the first time today, and boy, howdy. Does it look great? It's going to look good. So we're very, very excited about that. All right. Next question.
Look,
we're 54 minutes in here.
Gary, you're going to have to excuse me. You've done a lot of introducing and a lot of stories since then. I'm still stuck on the Alabama Theater having 20s wiring in it still. Okay. Okay. I want to ask, is it knob and tube wiring that they're having to replace? Where they actually would take and run the wiring on a knob and then run it down and then run it?
I'm not answering that.
I mean, knob and tube is safe until you touch it. And then it's not.
What's 440 volts among friends? Here's the thing. That wiring is not exposed. It is completely safe. It is in conduit.
Okay.
We know it's there. I mean, it's there right now today. It was there yesterday when we had 2,000 kids in there. Is it safe? Yes, it's fine. If we didn't replace it and I didn't tell you, you would never know.
Yeah.
You'd never know, Ken.
We know. and so this is the kind of thing that, as preventative maintenance, and it's just a little bit. I mean, I don't want to over exaggerate how much it is. It's not a lot, because most of it got replaced in '98.
Right.
But there are still some oddities, little cubbies here and there that have that wiring through, and it's like, now is the time. We're going to be down. Let's get this wiring.
Finish the job. Yeah.
Exactly.
Get it all taken out. Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, it's truly less than, I'm going to say 1, maybe 2% of the total wiring in the building, and we know exactly where it is and what has to. So that's a great question, but I don't want to be overly.
To tell me. I don't blame you. I probably wouldn't either, until you have a code inspector that comes out and goes, "What is that?"
we're grandfathered in.
There you go.
What is that? Oh, sorry, 1927. What is this? Oh, sorry, historical plaque.
Asbestos? What? No. 1927. Come on.
Plaque.
Do not even mention the A word. Do not. I'll go on record as saying this. Everything that I'm aware of has been abated. So
there we go. I mean, in the Wizard of Oz, they were using asbestos for snow. So I mean,
Snowflakes, really.
there was a time when asbestos was perfectly fine.
Well, yes, well, yeah. I mean, it was a great discovery. There was also a great discovery after that too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to be overly dramatic there when it comes to that. All of that, as far as I know, has been abated, and all the lead paint removed, things like that. That happened back in '98. So
Yeah. Right.
Cool.
I'm on record.
Well, I said, you talking about past projects. I know recently, I know it's been a few years, but when y'all finally got the second sign put back up, right? We all had the other sign on the other.
Oh yeah, the one on the
that's
side.
huge.
Yeah.
That was one of the big contracts.
Well, that was a two-phase project there, because that's the Third Avenue sign there.
Yeah, the main.
And the sign and the sign that just replaced the one that you're seeing in that picture was neon. But not the original sign. That was not the sign in 1927. That sign that you're seeing there had been replaced in either it was 54 or 58. And that's when the neon went in. Prior to that, oh gosh, I wish I'd sent you a picture, because I've got a good photo of the original one. It's kind of the background of it's kind of in a mottled burst, and everything is lit with incandescent bulbs. So that marquee and that vertical blade, that's from, it's either 54 or 58. Don't quote me, but let's say mid to late 50s. And so, of course, it's attached with steel beam girders to the side of the building, and let's just call it from the 50s to present, has been sitting there with pigeons all over it, and pigeon poop is very acidic. And so this thing is oh geez, you want to talk about something that we really consider to be dangerous. This thing was literally at some point going to fall apart. So we decided we would go ahead and replace that Third Avenue vertical. Now, there was one originally on 18th Street, and in the 54 or 58 renovation, that sign was pulled down and removed to rob parts to create the new replacement sign. So that one got robbed. This one went up. And of course, people are just having a come apart about, we're taking down the original. No, it's not the original sign. We're taking down the second iteration, and we're putting something up that's actually more close to the original. And in that, we did the 18th Street replacement simultaneously. And I don't, was anybody there for that kind of New Year's-y kind of sign lighting? I think it was around just after New Year, January 10th, whatever year that was. The Lyric had been open, so that. Anyway, so we did that, and then at the same time, the physical marquee, which was also redone in the 50s, had that white milk glass and those letters that you had to go up on the lift and click into place, and it didn't matter whether it was 117 degrees or a tornado. That sign had to be changed that night. And so that was a pain, and those letters are dangerous. They're designed not to fall, but God forbid, one should fall, it would kill somebody.
Right.
And I mean, because they're this 8, 10, 12 whatever inches tall, and aluminum heavy. They're a weapon, dropped from 40 feet, onto an unsuspecting child. So we decided we would go to a more modern digital, but still be able to utilize the coloring and fonts and things like that. Now, one good thing is the original marquee had that nice Paramount swirly cue that you see today on all three sides.
That's one I took that one this year.
Yeah. So so you've got that original swirly cue, and it says "Show Place of the South" on there, And it very, very, very much. The designers were given some photos from 1934 to show them how to model this new marquee. And so we can still put up, Bama Geeks podcast tonight on there. But then if you see in this photo, you see the great Jessica, the Die Hard.
Yes. One of the best Christmas movies.
We'll talk about
the
that.
best Christmas movie. Come on, man.
True.
No, let me tell you, we can talk about Die Hard because boy, howdy, have I got stories. We can do those nice pictures, and the thing is it can rotate and do anything you want and change. It's just modern digital technology, and you can turn it off and turn it off remotely, and it's just wonderful. And so one of the future projects is we're going to swap out the lyric. That verbiage there because the channel letters there and put it digitally, and I think that's going to be great. You want to talk about Die Hard?
Oh.
Yes, I'm here for Die Hard. Let's do it.
This is something that Jess and Kevin and I especially we try to get to every year.
Every year.
And this year, good night, what a crowd.
What happened?
Man, that
by the
was
way?
booked.
I think everybody finally discovered Die Hard at the Alabama Theater this last Christmas because
It's the experience. It's the
Well,
experience of being there with everybody. You know?
we were going to meet before. We went over to the Pizzitz Food Hall to grab some food. And you're like, oh no, it's okay. We've been able to walk right in, sit down, and we finished eating. The line was down the block, and we were like, what's
The block?
Yes.
What's going on? What is going on?
Okay,
Go in both directions. They had both directions. Yeah.
I love that. I love that people can go both ways. Oh, I got to stop with these. All right, look. So the very first year that we were going to do that, I'm just going to be blunt. We were getting so much pushback from the upper office. You can't show that movie here. It's not a Christmas movie, and
no, you don't.
Such language. And I'm like, I'm pleading, begging, and I had a little help pleading and begging, and so we decided to run it one time, and I finally got that. Okay, one time, and then we're done with this.
Yeah.
So here's what happened the first year. We have all these others, Christmas Vacation that sells out every show,
every
2,000
time.
And we have Elf, which sells out every time.
Right.
And we have now, a Christmas Story, and the Home Alone, weirdly, sells out every time. It's like when these tickets go on sale, you better get them right then and worry about who's coming later.
Right.
And so we were the first year, and this has to be 4 years ago, I'm guessing. We're going to run Die Hard, and like 800 tickets sell. And of course, you told you, upper office, told you so.
Yeah.
So we're like, still, it's going to be fun. That's 800 is a decent crowd. They came in that night, and our bar revenue
Yeah.
was
That sounds about right.
so far over the top
Yeah.
that upper management was just like, we are certainly glad we decided to do this.
This was a great idea.
I'm glad we thought of it.
Two things you need to know about Uncle Gary. Number one, I am a spider, and I will patiently wait until we get our way. Number two, I am not a credit hog. If I come up with an idea, good or bad, and it works, and you want to take credit for it, I don't care. We made it happen. It happened. And then the next year, there were like, 1,400 people. And then the next year, and then this year, I think there were literally 4 tickets left.
Wow.
Yes.
And
That's amazing.
I'm having I'm having to open every bar, every nook and cranny bar, everywhere I can put a beer kiosk to accommodate this crowd. So,
Right.
so we love Die Hard.
Well,
Yeah.
Gary, we were there. You know, she
Yeah,
took
we
the
were there
picture.
this
We were
year.
there. It didn't matter which bar you went to. There was a massive line.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
But the great thing is, you know, everybody's there for the same reason. They're there to have a good time.
Mhm.
We know there's a line every time. You know, you got 2,000 people coming in to be served within an hour.
Mhm.
And I've always said, you know, I really don't care that there's a long line as long as it is moving. If that line's
Mhm.
moving and I get you through, nobody
Mhm.
really cares.
Yeah.
The great thing about Die Hard is now this. I'll tell you this was the first year that I've got like 7-year-olds in there, and I'm like,
I-
are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
sure?
We caught your little, your little speech prior to the movie. Now
Yeah.
let's discuss what kind of movie we're about to watch now.
Yes. If you're easily offended, now's the time to leave. I think the beauty of it is that you in the midst of all these Christmas music, and trust me, I mean, I love kids. I really, really do, and it's fun.
Mhm.
But when you're trying to move a line in concessions and they're standing there going, "What kind of candy do you want, sweetheart?" They've got, and they start listing off all the
Yeah.
candy. When I was little, my dad said, "Here, you're having a Snickers, and you'll be happy about it and move
Mhm.
along." But you can't move a line with you can't
Yeah.
move a line at the cartoon matinee. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But at Die Hard, you know, those guys they know what they want, they know how to
Yep.
order, they know how to move a line, and it got everybody through. And so
Mhm.
that's wonderful. I should point out that as a side note, that I am currently employed by Birmingham Landmarks as concessions manager. So I'm the one responsible for making sure, you know, those lines
Okay.
at the Lyric
Mhm.
move and the lines at the
Mhm.
Alabama move, that everybody's staffed, and we've got plenty of Tito's handmade vodka. Say
Oh, yeah.
that multiple times. And that to me is the most challenging job. You know, everybody goes, "Oh, that organ, how it's an airline cockpit. How do you?" And I'm like, that organ is nothing compared to somebody screaming that you're out of French vanilla coffee creamer. So
Nothing compared to management. Management is the tough thing.
it is. The wonderful thing is, you know, we've got a great team, the folks that really enjoy being there and enjoy serving the patrons that we have.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. I say that to say that Die Hard revenue stream that evening made me ever so happy, even though
Oh,
I
I'm
don't see
sure.
any of it. But
I
you know,
We were
it's
happy
always
to
a numbers
contribute.
game. It's always a numbers game.
We very much contributed to that revenue stream. I'll tell you
Yes,
that.
Absolutely,
But you
we did.
see, but that think about it though. That right there, that sold out movie with a huge revenue concessions is why we're able to this month of June do this big
Mhm.
project
Yeah.
and write a check for it and pay for it and not
That's-
have to borrow money.
Oh, that's
We
great.
are completely self-sustaining, and it's because those people show up and patronize us.
Mhm.
So that I'm back to, I'd never take that for granted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You got to keep everybody happy. So,
Yeah, and of course we're all part of the Alabama Ghostbusters, and
Yes.
golly, what was it, 10, 11 years ago?
2011, I think it was.
2011.
it's,
Yeah, and
it's
we
been a
were-
minute. Yeah.
Yeah, but
We've got to get that back. And I know they're watching, and as soon as I say this, my phone's going to light up over here. You know, there's a Ghostbusters consortium. Did you know there's a Jaws consortium in Birmingham?
It
I
don't
wouldn't be
surprise me.
surprised. Doesn't surprise me.
What?
It's crazy, and y'all think y'all are crazy? I mean, they are literally bloodthirsty. I mean, shark in the water bloodthirsty. But
Perfect.
Hey,
fun group.
the biggest thing we got to deal with is little kids coming up and asking us if ghosts are real.
Yeah, ghosts
You
are
know,
real.
Yeah.
They want to know about ectoplasm.
Yes.
Right.
So,
yeah, but we
the sharks are
totally-
real. We're gonna bite you.
No, we thoroughly enjoyed our time. The 2 or 3 times that we've done
Yeah.
Ghostbusters there at the Alabama Theater.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, anytime you guys want to bring that back, we'll be there.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, not a no.
What was really fun last summer is my kids, I've got an 18-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son, and they had never been to the theater. And so we brought them last summer
Mhm.
to see Shrek. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
was, yeah. And there were little technical hiccups. And so I imagine your hands were pretty tired from playing that organ for the extended period of time. But my kids loved it, and
Yeah.
they told me to tell you hello tonight.
Oh, well,
Well,
let's
I'm please tell them hello back, and you know, were any of you there the year before last when Elf derailed?
yes.
I heard about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we were. Look,
In a sold out show. Yeah.
In a sold out show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
And-
you handled that whole situation magnificently.
It was
There
it was
was-
Elf, not Shrek,
Yeah.
right? That had the technical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Elf. Yeah, well, I was gonna say I wasn't gonna say did Shrek. I don't remember that. Elf did. By
The
God, I
elf
remember
fell
that.
off the shelf.
Look.
Okay.
There was not enough gin or prosecco to get me off that shelf that night after it was over. Let me tell you.
Hey, we
So,
stayed.
all right.
we were gonna
so-
stay until
so-
y'all kicked us out.
Yeah. No matter what.
Well, and so my house manager is coming. I don't know if you could see her. She would come down to the side. And she would do this,
Yeah.
and
He was-
I'm like going, and then she comes down, and she climbs up there, and so there's several things I can do simultaneously, but I can't play and talk at the same time. One shuts off. So I'm playing away, and I'm just nodding, yes, no, yes. And she's coming up. She's like, there's a little problem. Just, vamp till ready. We're just play until we let you know. And I'm like, okay, cool, we'll do this. And so, I'm like, ha 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 ha, this will be fun for a few minutes. Well, Jessica, what was it? 22 minutes later.
Yeah.
It was a while.
It was close to
It was
about
a while.
30 minutes later. Yeah.
Yeah. that. And I had left my freaking Reader's Digest Christmas book in the dressing room, and I was running out of stuff to play from memory. And she came down once, and like she's coming down, and I catch her out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, whew. But she's like this.
Keep it going.
Bring me some music. I need sheet music.
So I finally did take a break and turn around and do a little Q&A, and then I got back on it, and I'm playing some more, and play, and here comes Cindy again, and I'm like, oh, phew, finally a resolution. And she comes up to the side and she goes, well, we're gonna have to call it. And I'm like, fudge. And I got finished, got off, got the microphone, and told the crowd, we're so sorry. This technical difficulty has arisen. It is not being able to be corrected. And what we're going to do is we're going to re-show this film at a later time, and you can do one of two things. You can hang on to your ticket, and we'll guarantee you admission. Or if you choose, you can ask for a refund, and we will cheerfully and gladly refund your ticket. Or if you would like to make a donation to the Alabama Theater, please tell your accountant that this is a tax-deductible 501c3 donation. And we love everyone's patience, and we appreciate. And about that time, the movie comes on behind me,
Fired
and
up.
the crowd goes crazy. Well, I don't see the movie behind me, and I'm like, oh, you guys.
And you just turn around and go, psych.
Yeah.
And I just turn around, and there's the movie, and I'm just like, well, fudge it, I'm out of here. And so I left, got backstage, hit the down button on the console, and brought the console down. And I got up to the booth, and have you seen like a a Warner Brothers cartoon with the character is Frady Cat, and it's the one where
Yeah.
the dog goes up behind it, goes "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and the cat goes up on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was our tech director that night. He was just clinging.
Oh,
So we calm down. We go get adult beverages. Movie's running fine,
uh-huh.
and upper management comes and goes, "Can we do that again?" And I have never ever wanted to take anyone out into the alley and beat them to a pulp.
Right?
Yeah. I said,
What actually do a technical problem again so that it can
Yes,
boost sales or something?
yes, because again, while everyone was waiting, concessions went through the roof, and we had a record night.
Right?
And I told him, I said, that was as organic as it possibly can be or ever get. And no, we will never, ever on purpose do a technical issue.
Yeah.
And our technical director just got a shotgun and did this. I got this. So that was when I'm on my deathbed, wheezing out my last couple of breaths. I'm gonna remember Elf that night. Trust me.
I'm so glad we were there, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was
That was
so
such
much
a blast.
It was so much fun. And like I said, we were just like, everybody's getting up and leaving. It was like, well, we're gonna stay. We will stay until y'all have to kick us out.
Gary's playing, we're staying.
I think thanks. I only think about of 2000. I only think about 300 people left.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. You may have things going on at home. You may have a babysitter. You've got to go relieve, whatever. I don't know. School tomorrow, work tomorrow. So I get it. We were, disappointed just as much as everyone. But oh lordy, I never want that to happen again. That was torture, painful torture.
But Gary, I really need to know how I really need to know how you became involved and how you learned to play Big Bertha.
Okay, well that I'll do this one quickly for you because at some point you're going to call time. Started piano when I was 4. In the very, very early 70s. I was born in 1960. So in 1971, 72, the big home organ craze was going on, and everybody wanted a home organ. And we did not have a lot of money. We were not, starving, but we scraped and saved, and my mom and dad bought me a little home spinet organ. Guess which brand it was?
It was Wurlitzer?
It was a Wurlitzer. Now, I had never been to the Alabama Theater. Destiny. I had never seen that organ. I didn't know one existed. I didn't even know what that was. But I knew I wanted to learn, and so it was a natural evolution from piano to a home organ. And then I actually started playing organ in our local church when I was 12, and it progressed. And it was very much enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And when I got ready to go to college, my mom thought certain I was going to pursue a music degree, and my dad said, "Don't do that. You'll never make any money. You can't make a living." He said, "Get you a degree and get you a job where you can make some money so you can support your evil habit of music." And he was career Army, so he had this to deal with. So, so I was like, well, that actually makes pretty good sense, and so I did. While I was in college, I graduated in '83, and this would have been in '81. I was on the rooftop of our apartment building getting my last bit of post-summer tan, just a little touch-up up there. And I'm on the roof. I got the radio, and I hear on WBHM them talking about upcoming Phantom of the Opera at the Alabama Theater in downtown Birmingham. And I'm like, well, that kind of sounds like fun. Maybe I should go. So I got in the car, went down. There's Phantom of the Opera, Tom Helms, a very youthful Tom Helms. And I was absolutely, completely blown away, blown apart
Yeah.
of the whole experience, the silent film, the organ, his score, the whole thing. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I've never it's very mind blowing and very emotional. And I know a lot of folks will tell you the very first time they hear or see that organ come up out of the pit, it's just bone riveting.
Yeah.
And so out front, there's a little table, and they're talking about, oh, we meet on Saturdays, and we get to use the organ every once in a while, and we have socials, and you should come and join us. And I'm like, I'm in school, I don't know. And one of them said, and I can't remember if it was, I'm pretty sure it was Cecil Whitmire, said, they're tearing down the Ritz at the end of the month, and we're going to go pull what's left of the Ritz organ out. Why don't you come help us? We could really use you, because 20 at that point, 22.
Yeah.
And and strong. And so, well, okay, why not? So I go, and we had such a good time and such good camaraderie. And when it was all over, we hauled all the Ritz pieces back to the Alabama and put them up in the organ workshop. And we went down, and there was Bertha, and they said, "You want to play her?" And I'm like, "What?" And that's the first time I forgot to play her. And as they say, the rest is history. I just, it's like they couldn't get rid of me. And so I finished college, and just tried to maintain a presence with the Theater Organ Society, and for a while was able to. It was amazing, because that's when all the I graduated in 83, and then in 86 we're forming landmarks to buy and purchase and operate. And it was just an insane period of time in my life. And Cecil Whitmire was there, and I was brought on as a staff organist. He was house organist. And later in life, as time progressed, Cecil reached a point where he said, "Can you come meet me for lunch?" And I said, "Uh-oh, I'm going to get fired. What have I done now?" And we went to lunch. We went to Surin West at 5 Points, and he said,
Nice.
"I need to take a step back, and I need you to step in." And I thought I was going to die right there on the premise. And he said, I need you to take over. And he said, "I'll fill in if you need, to take a break, or if you need to go on vacation or whatever." He said, "But I really, really, really am ready to take a step back, and I need you to step in." And again, the rest, they say, is history. But that's when I, took over, and I had owned a music store in Tuscaloosa, and I ran that for 20 years. And when that played out and I closed the store, I had decided I was going to retire. Now I'm running the store in Tuscaloosa, and I'm driving up to do all the shows at the Alabama. It's just, it's 45 minutes. Just what's 45 minutes? But it really wasn't difficult. But I had was closing the store, was going to retire, and just bop around the house. And our general manager, Brant Bean, was like, "Oh, I need a facilities manager. Why don't you come on?" I was like, "Oh, no. I'm just going to play the organ, and I'm going to retire and play the organ, and it'll be fine." And he's like, No, I'm serious. This building. You've been here all these decades. Come on." And I'm like, "Well, okay." He finally taught me into it. And I was facilities manager for a year. And then the end of that year, this would have been 2015, the Lyric was getting ready to open, and that's when they moved me into the position of concessions manager. Because at some point way back, I did have a food and beverage background, and so that was a good natural fit. So I always tell people now, I sell cheap Chardonnay, drink Prosecco, and play the organ. That's
Not a bad gig.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
Oh no, I still could be shoveling sheet music in Tuscaloosa. That's for sure.
Yeah, we had the pleasure, like I said, when we were doing Ghostbusters there, we had the pleasure of working with Cecil for that first year, and then I worked with Brant
What a character!
after that. He was a great man.
Cecil's a great man, but oh my goodness, Cecil was a character and a half. We still use this term. I'm going to tell you this term. If we sell out a movie, there's 2,000 people. Well, Cecil would tell the press, "Oh, we have 4,500 people here."
Were they sitting on each other's lap, or
this project costs $3 million to do? Well, we spent $14 million, and so we still say today we say, well, here's the number, and someone will say, is that a real number or a Cecil number?
A Cecil.
So there's real numbers and there's Cecil numbers, and so
Cecilflation.
Cecilflation. I think and there was a lot of ballyhoo in the 20s and 30s with these movie palaces being built. It's our $20,000 organ. Well, then your competitor would go, well, our $30,000 organ.
Right.
It was just typical ballyhoo, and then we all laughed about it because we knew that he meant well. It was from the heart.
Absolutely.
But he was a showman. And
exactly.
I think I'll say this, and I hope he's watching. Our current general manager, Brant Dean, he is a realist, down to the penny, careful money watcher. And again, that's why we're able to do the things that we're doing now with these projects, because he's very fiscal responsible. His the background with that fiscal responsibility, and so he keeps us our toes. And let's talk about this profit margin on this popcorn here, Jones.
So you're saying he doesn't operate under the auspices of Cecilflation, right?
No, he wants he has an insurance background, so he wants very oh my God, if I have gotten in trouble and I know I'm in trouble, I go whip out an Excel spreadsheet like that and take it up. He'll eat that up. And now
it's kind of like bringing in flowers.
Edit. No, but he's very much a realist, a numbers person, and so we have to have that. You have to have the showmen and the show people and the tech directors and everything to make it all work.
Everybody has their roles in the whole process.
And that gets us back to that patron experience and providing that good patron, or try to provide that good patron experience. So we're very fortunate, our team right now. Oh my God. Have y'all ever worked in a place where you see people coming and you just like skirt and move to get out of the way so you don't have to interact with them?
Yeah, I've worked for Walmart.
Yep. My second job out of college, I worked for Satan in hell. And
you've also worked for Walmart. Sweet. All right,
cool. Never have I worked for a more psychotic person. And then you just got people that you just genuinely can't stand. And you just have people that you just generally try to avoid. And I always judge. Here's how I judge people. Here's how I judge you. And that is, do I want to go eat lunch with you? Because, it's the sharing a meal, that time you're trapped.
Right.
I have to say this, all this build up to right now, our team, and we're a very small team. This is so corny, and I swear I mean it. It's just so cliche, but they are family. And we all have a great time. We all look out for one another. Most of us have the same sense of humor. I've got one person who's even a little bit more warped and twisted than I am, which I love you, Donnie. And It's wonderful, and there's not a single person that I don't want to have lunch with. We have so much fun and laugh and cut up, and then get the job done.
Right.
And I have also, this current team that's in place, I have never worked with this level of professionalism. And so all of a sudden I'm having to kind of, buckle up and behave, because I've got these wonderful, fun people that are truly professional in what they do. And so the elf thing could have completely derailed, but our tech director held that together.
Yeah.
And got it done, and got it fixed, and got it running. And our house manager could have screamed and yelled and gone completely berserk, but she is so fun and cool and calm and collected.
Yeah.
And I everyone tomorrow I'll expect my checks. Each team member and their families, I love and adore every one of them. And again, I don't want to be corny with it, but I've never worked at a job where I literally love seeing every person come through the door, where I love coming through the door every day, and where I never take it for granted, because that can change real quick.
Without a doubt. That's wonderful to hear. And even kind of, I know all of my experiences there have been as a patron have been absolutely wonderful. And you do, you can get that atmosphere. Was that?
I said we're not perfect, but we really try.
No. But, but y'all do everybody there does a fantastic job with what they do. And I always say that I'm always happiest. One of my favorite things about Christmas time is coming to the theater and the experience and the atmosphere. That tree out front is absolutely beautiful. I love seeing it every year. The decorations, everything y'all do to make that experience at Christmas time, it just touches my heart. It makes me happy, joyful Christmas cheer.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm willing to bet that tree gets on so many people's family Christmas cards that they send out. Because it's so beautiful.
That's why we're saying, pictures are important, and people making memories are important, and creating traditions, that's important. That tree, by the way, takes 3 days to put up and 2 days to take down.
I believe it. That thing's massive.
It's a big one.
It's a big one, and it's a full stage crew that does that. So to decorate.
As you're talking about that, I have a coworker. He just recently came up there a couple weeks ago for a concert, and I hyped up. I was like, "Look, that place is beautiful. You're going in there." I told him, I said, "Now look, you see this now." I said, "Make plans to go in December. You've got to see this place in December." And he came back, and he's like, "You're right. We will be back for Christmas some way or another." So you've got to.
The thing is when you go in there the first time and see everything, you think, good heavens, it can't be any more than this. And Christmas is, it's not done till it's overdone, and Christmas, it's overdone, and we love that. And it just makes it great. I will say this too, as exhausting as that holiday film series is, and trust me, it is. We are as happy and joyful on that last day, that last show, as we were on the first one. And it's just because every time the energy of that crowd comes in, and it just brings you, to that level.
It does.
And it's magic.
Yeah.
It's magic.
And even outside of Christmas, it's still just a beautiful building to be inside and just be at any time of the year. I always hate when I have to go. I really do, because I could stay in there all night and just enjoy being inside the theater.
Yeah, I was trying to remember like all the shows that I've seen there. Like I think at one point I saw Trailer Park Boys there. You guys had Trailer Park Boys. I saw 311, the rock band 311 you guys had there, and those guys were absolutely making the place jump. It was nuts. So just going from a band like that, and then going to like just more of a, Worlds Are Coming Up, and more of a traditional, it's like that is such a multi-use facility. It really is.
Well, yeah, and we're back to now. The building was built as a movie palace to show silent films, and now it's a true performing arts center. And we are, one day a graduation, the next day a dance recital, the next day is Trailer Park Boys, and then the next day is a Christmas movie. It's everything to everyone. You know, and the lyric is quite different because it is really designed and mostly hosts live concerts. So we do some occasional. Sloss Tech is coming back. They come to the Lyric and do 3 days at the Lyric, and that's, you know, kind of a fun. We've had a couple of TED Talk things there, and
Nice.
but it is really a live performance venue.
Right.
That's what it was designed to do, and it does that really well too. So it's great to have both theaters operating across from one another. And,
not to mention that just makes that road and just the view as you're driving up, having both sides lit up now with it kind of brings you back into the 20s and 30s. It just feels like it when you drive through there. Yeah,
the visual of both theaters. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very impactful. It's stunning to see that when all the marquees and lights and everything flashing, and you know, and it is kind of fun too when we have simultaneous shows on both sides of the street. To see those people both sides lines, and it's we got, you know, a dance recital on this side and RuPaul's Drag Race on this side, and
the intertwining of cultures. Yes, I understand that.
That mesh and blend.
Yeah.
And I think have a good time.
The funniest thing is like now that the Bizitz is up and running, and it's been up and running for a little while now, everything's getting more classical rather. So it's going to be like McWayne is the thing that sticks out because it's like the more modern thing in that whole block area.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, what happened here? Oh, that's the McWayne thing. I love those guys.
Oh yeah, McWayne. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, they're great. It's just it's interesting that everything in that area is kind of moving more towards the classical feel, and then you got McWayne, and it's kind of like they just shoehorned it in there. Whereas McWayne used to be what kind of held all that together, really, you know, with the business, you know. So it's kind of weird to see how that's moved and shifted again.
It has, you know, and so and I reiterate this, when we in the late '80s when we first said, well, nobody's going to come downtown, and then all of a sudden, you know, people are coming back downtown, and then McWayne comes in, and that's a real boost for us. And I honestly don't think McWayne would have been able to do what they do without us being there first. At the same time, we partner well with them and in getting folks, you know, just to come on down. Especially in the years when they first opened. And now the Carver Theater's renovation is complete and they're back up and running. And then you have the unbelievable team right around the corner with Sidewalk.
Right.
And we are just so like-minded when it comes to you know, getting folks downtown, getting folks involved with community and theater and movies and whatever. And it just it is amazing and wonderful that everyone works so well together for the same common goal, and that is, you know, get folks in here, get folks down here.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
Yeah, I moved back to the Birmingham area in 2018, and a big reason for me wanting to come back was that whole area down there, and just so much to do now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and you know, and now Bizitz is open, and you've got restaurants around us and coffee shops around us, and a couple more things coming in the next year or so that we know are in development stages. And then you've got, oh my goodness, you know, what has happened on 2nd Avenue and 20th Street with all the incredible. What happened to your lighting there, Bo?
Sorry, my kiddo dropped by to ask me something. Sorry.
Dad, answer me.
I mean, I'm surprised I haven't had a cat walk across. Patches, get down. I forget what I was saying.
The Second Avenue.
The 2nd Avenue and 20th, with the restaurant scene that's going on all up and down, and then now First in the bar scene and everything that's happening. It's just, you know, it's wonderful to be able to come down and enjoy a nice cocktail, enjoy a nice meal, see a great show, whatever. And really be contained in that nice I'm going to call it 6-block radius
Mhm.
around us. And trust me, more to come. Can't say much more than that.
We'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Gary, we have absolutely enjoyed having you on here with us tonight. Jess and I especially have been talking for a long time about trying to get you on here, and you're an absolute joy.
We were. I will tell you, we were actually discussing it while we were standing in line at Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You were 100%.
Well, that's fun. I appreciate the opportunity. You know me, I'm shy, and so I just
Yeah.
I could totally
had to
see
be
it. Yeah.
thoroughly convinced to do this. I'm always going, what will I talk about? What is this hell? I hope they have some good questions. And I told you from the start that your tough time is going to be shutting me up. And all I can say is I reflect back on to my 3rd grade report cards from Mrs. Creel. Gary's a good student, but does not pay attention in class. He would do better to talk less. And now it's my biggest
great.
asset. So
That's right.
thank you, Ellen Creel.
Look what I did with this wonderful gift that I possess.
Exactly.
It's a gift.
And we certainly encourage everyone to go check out the Alabama Theater if you're, and of course the Lyric Theater if you're in downtown Birmingham at any point in time, and it definitely when the film series comes out in the summer and in the around the holidays, you've got to go and witness Gary and all his splendor and all the wonderful music he plays and the stories he tells, and of course all the everything the Alabama especially has to offer. So much.
Thank you so much. The one-offs that we'll do and anything else, you can go to the website alabamatheater.com/events, and it'll keep you posted. You can, all the social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, you can grab those, and it'll keep you posted. If you do like these concerts and things, there is the Showplace Society, which is a benefit that you can sign up for. There is a cost involved. It's a donation, but it does at certain levels get you a pre-sale code for some of these things. So you get that little day before code to get you something. So check out Showplace Society. It's worth the money. Trust me.
Okay.
And next time, come see me. Have a cocktail. That's some popcorn.
Yes,
that's right.
Or Jess thrives on your popcorn.
I do.
Sure.
I do.
Oh,
popcorn is one of my loves.
as silly as that seems and as that sounds, I know I shouldn't say this, but I really think we have the best popcorn you possibly can get.
I agree.
It is popped fresh. It's popped with love, and not kidding. And it is a challenge to keep up with that volume of corn. And
I bet. And it's consumed with love too. Trust me. I mean, it's like I'm in the door. Got to have my popcorn.
First thing she goes for every time.
Well, it is by far the #1 selling concessions item on the docket. Bottled water is #2. Tito's handmade vodka is #3.
I was about to say if we're seeing Die Hard, it's popcorn at a Tito's.
I mean, what a great combination. No, really, a little Tito's, a little popcorn, something chocolate, get that mix.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff.
And great art prints, photographs, t-shirts, things of that nature, usually right beside the concession stand there on the main floor. I know Kevin's house is adorned with a handful of those prints.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yes. Kevin's sporting the t-shirt there.
Alabama Theater. Yeah. Years back, I bought one of the prints. I got it hanging up as well. That's the Alabama, the marquee and everything. So that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I saw that and I was like, I've got to have that to decorate the house. It's just beautiful. It's a conversation piece because you have people that come over and I'm like, how do you not know what that is? Oh, we're going. We're going.
Well, but I think that's a great thing is, every time you can introduce the theater to a new person that's never seen it or heard of, or they've just moved here or whatever.
Mhm.
Once they experience that, then,
Yeah.
we got you.
They're
You're
hooked.
Oh, yeah, you really
suckered
do.
in, you're hooked. Yeah. But that's good. Yeah, we always love new faces, but we love to see all the tried and true patrons that enjoy coming.
Yep. And part of those print sales is when you guys do the film series, you've always got specialized posters of whatever film you're showing as well.
Yes, those are one-offs done by Yellowhammer Creative for us, and what a great team over there that does that. They do the T-shirt designs and all of that too. So we're thrilled to partner with them and have that available. And everybody looks for that new season T-shirt because
just keep adding to the collection.
I've got the whole collection. I did. So we're potentially moving from the house that I've lived in since 1992. And so we've been doing some pre-packing, and I found my 1986 T-shirt that is "I Helped Save the Alabama Theater"
Wow.
in conjunction with the Birmingham News. And that was the grassroots effort that raised the money to pay the taxes to get us out of bankruptcy.
Wow.
And I'm
That's so awesome.
And okay, and I got to throw this one out there too. I found, and this is why you should clean house every 40 years. I found my Catherine Tucker Wyndham Jeffrey T-shirt.
Shut up.
Oh.
And so I called Dilsey, her daughter, and I said, "Guess what I found?" So all these treasures, and so I kind of put those in a box. A container that I could keep together. But
that's wonderful.
The Kevin, the T-shirt you're wearing right now is one of my favorite designs because it is the new marquee, and it is I like that good classic. That red looks great against the gray.
Yeah,
it's fun stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. Right.
Well, we'll put a link to the Alabama Theater's website and everything else down in the description, both of the audio and the video portions of the podcast. But speaking of social media, if you've enjoyed sitting here and hearing these wonderful stories and we've been able to entertain you, then keep the conversation going online. Everywhere on social media, we're at Bama Geeks. And of course, if you're on Facebook, you can join the Bama Geeks Front Porch. Just search for that. And if you want to join the YouTube channel or the patreon.com/Bama Geeks, or just hit that join button down here on the YouTube channel, and you can become a member that way and get some bonus stuff. We've always got some extra audio and extra video for you, access to the Discord channel and everything else. And Gary, once again, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
So enjoyed this.
Thank you all.
And hopefully we can have you on again.
Yes,
I'd love to.
I'm full support of this.
Yeah,
I've got a dozen other things to talk about.
Nice. I would love it.
We need good.
Well, if you want to hear more of Gary's stories, then all you have to do is hit like, subscribe to the channel, everything else. You know what to do for YouTube.
Yep.
Hey, help us grow the audience. We'll get them back for you. How about that? That's an incentive.
Yeah.
That's
right?
right.
There you go.
Do it. Just do
Fair
it.
enough.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Gary, thank you so much. And for Kevin and Bo and Jessica, I'm Brock. We're the Bama Geeks, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Take care.